Welcome and thank you for stopping by. Hopefully you're having a great day. I am Jack and I'm sitting here in Nairobi, Kenya in the Westlands area, also looked at as their prime space. A baseball throw away from the GTC, and I'm sitting here with Pratt. And he is an accountant here and he has a lot of knowledge and experience with this particular subject that he's going to share with us and help us all understand how things run here in Kenya. So Pratt, please tell us all a little bit about yourself.
Hi, so I am based in Kenya, as he said. I've been working in the accounting field just down the road for the last 15 years at one of the major accounting firms within Nairobi. And from there, I've been exposed to tax, accounting, and advisory and other aspects of the profession.
Fantastic. So we're going to start this discussion with this one. This is major. So when it comes to citizenship for someone who is a foreigner, whether they're from Europe, United States, Canada, or Asia, what would they need to do to become a citizen here?
Okay, so there's a couple of ways you can achieve this. The most direct way would be to marry a Kenyan citizen, and within 3 years, then you can attain your citizenship.
Okay.
Beyond that, you would need to take the investor route, which
Okay.
means investing 100K USD and going on the investor permit, followed by permanent residency, and then followed by citizenship. And this can take up to 7 years.
Okay.
But the last way, if you're not interested in any of the previous two methods,
Sure.
would take a minimum of 7 years.
Okay.
And you'd have to be staying within Kenya.
Okay, so basically if I move to Kenya, typically they have a visa.
Yes.
And the visa is about 90 days.
Yes.
So then at the 90-day point, for what I learned is that in other countries, you have to exit the whole country for at least 24 hours and then come back. Is that correct?
Yes. So if you come on a tourist visa, that's correct.
Yes.
You could also come on what we call a work permit, which is different to the visa.
Right.
Yes.
So how does the work permit work?
So you just need to apply, and they will give you based on the different classes. There is class A, I believe, up to class H. I like the investor one falls under class G.
Okay. So I decided to do a work permit and I come here and I do that. But isn't that for a short period though? Like, how do I get to that 7 year without having an issue?
So each work permit is issued for 2 years at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I would have to renew it every 2 years.
Yes, you'd have
And
to.
by doing that, then I could get to that 7 year period.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Here's the next thing. When it comes to someone who is looking to be an investor here, once again, from whatever country or city they're coming from, when it comes to the write-offs, like say this person comes in and he furnishes a place that he plans to rent out. What write-offs would this person have it can use for a tax write-off, and then what ones could he not use?
So in Kenya, rental tax is deemed as a final tax. Okay. So maybe I can explain what that means.
Sure.
So for a local citizen, currently the rate is 7.5%. Okay. And that is final tax. They cannot deduct any expense against this rental. They have to pay it by the 20th of the following month. For non-resident, okay, the withholding tax rate is 30%.
Now, this 30% for foreigners and this 7% point whatever for locals, that's on a monthly tax. And is that on what's being taxed monthly?
Your rental income.
Okay, the rental income that someone would earn from
owning a property and renting it out effectively.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah.
Now again, like we said, it's 30% for the withholding tax for foreigners. Even if you would, that's going down the individual route. If you were to go down the company route,
Right.
it's still a final tax. There is no deductibles against it. You could apply for an exemption,
Right.
but then the revenue authority then needs to give you that exemption where you could deduct expenses. But in Kenya, rental tax is seen as a
Staying in that whole rental space for a moment. And I think this is great information. So if an investor is trying to purchase something that they plan to make money off of, I think a big thing, at least I've learned, is a return on investment, also known as a ROI.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on the importance of that coming here?
So you obviously, when you make an investment, you do want to earn a good return on that investment. So your investment should give you the most optimal channels towards a final figure of ROI. When you look at how the landscape is within Kenya, within Westlands particularly, you can see that properties are coming up, and a lot of good, nice properties are coming up
Right.
in the mix of all the developments that are there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So, what is considered a good percentage as it relates to the ROI on a property?
Okay, so on a nice, good modern property with a developer who has a good track record, you can expect up to 10% on a
10%
long-term rental.
on a long-term rent.
Yes.
Okay. And does it matter whether the place, the house, or the apartment has furnishings or not?
No. And again, it's up to the landlord to choose. You will get a mix of both furnished and unfurnished.
Now, is there a thing where I know this is a thing back where I live at and all throughout the US, the neighborhood or the city will dictate a lot of the value. Is that the same here in Nairobi? And if it is, what neighborhoods would present the best opportunity as far as a return on investment?
Okay, so yes, it's true here as well. You've got the high end, the middle end, and the low end areas as
Okay.
well. In terms of the high end spectrum, you've got Westlands, where a lot of businesses are set up and a lot of apartments are coming up.
Okay.
You've then got beyond Westlands, there's an area called Riverside, which is also pretty prime. And then you've got beyond that is Kilimani and Kileleshwa, which is getting between the middle class and upper class there.
Okay.
Yeah.
My next idea, I'm really curious about, and I think this is very important when it comes to taxes. Now, you mentioned a monthly tax based on someone who is renting a space,
Yes.
but people who come here might not rent, they might just own.
Yes.
So, what kind of taxes would they need to be concerned with, far as either monthly or annually?
So, I mean, if you're coming here as a homeowner, you'd only need to pay the council tax, which is something small once a year.
A council tax.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is like land rate and rents, basically.
Okay. Is there any other taxes, whether it's personal or not? Because I think I heard something about like a nil tax. I'm not sure if that's a
Yeah.
thing.
So, again, for you to qualify as a tax resident in Kenya, you need to spend a number of days within Kenya. Okay. Once you exceed that number of days, then you'll be eligible to pay tax in Kenya.
Okay.
And if you don't earn any income, you will file a nil return.
So what is that amount of days in terms of
I
taxes?
think it is 164.
Okay.
And
So whatever that is, I'll find it and I'll put it on the screen. In my travels, which has been very short, guys, I haven't been here long at all, just over a week. And one thing I've noticed by riding around, this Safaricom and followed by this M-Pesa. Can you tell us all, like, what the Safaricom is first? Two, what is M-Pesa, and why do you feel that it's a benefit to know about, and why is it so important here?
All right. Safaricom, to put it simply, is the biggest company in East and Central Africa. There is no company that beats it in value.
Okay.
It is a mobile telecom operator, and Safaricom are the ones that brought M-Pesa to life.
Okay.
Now, M-Pesa is the mobile money system that Safaricom run. You've got other telecom operators within Kenya, but obviously Safaricom is just the largest.
Right.
Now, mobile money is the most predominant way for Kenyans to transfer money to each other, to pay businesses, to conduct transactions. And it has been here, it was invented here, and it has been here for 20 plus years.
Okay.
Yes, and you just need either a mobile app or a USSD code on your phone.
Is there anything else you need in order to get this started?
You need to just register, get a SIM card, and Safaricom will register you for M-Pesa. So if you want to register, go to a Safaricom shop or an Airtel shop and give them your identification. So locals with an ID foreigners with a passport.
Sure.
They will extract the details they need and register you for a SIM card. It's also important to note that the competition authority has allowed Safaricom and Airtel to now send transactions to each other, which for a long time previously was not allowed.
Okay, I like it. So this is a two-part question. This next one is a two-part question, and this is directed to all of my local Kenyans as well as my foreigners. So the question is that for a local Kenyan, from an accountant's point of view, if they are looking to buy a home, what could be 3 or 5 things that you feel that they would need to know and they could practice now in order to become a homeowner here?
A homeowner. Okay, so I would say first thing would be get a good realtor. Get a good realtor, they will guide you through the process. Nowadays, you get real estate firms that are involved in multiple aspects, which include the management, the selling and the renting, or be it the accountancy, the marketing bit of it as well. And then the second thing would be to get a good lawyer.
Right.
Right. And probably, maybe I should have started with this. Number one was do your own research.
Okay.
That's probably the most important thing.
Okay.
Just do your own research and be prepared.
Okay. So, and then what about for a foreigner? Like, what can they do before visiting, before researching? Is there anything that they can do, maybe even researching, to better prepare themselves for the market here?
So, I mean, as we're shooting this video, there may be educational content out there to inform yourself about the country.
Right.
Number one. Number two, look for reputable agencies, and reputation matters.
Right.
Basically, yeah.
This kind of segues from that. This next one is, so when I've gotten here and I've talked to different people, they've all said this acronym, KRA PIN. And then I've also heard a term that I've been practicing pronouncing called Ardhisasa. Can you elaborate on what those two are and exactly how vital they are in this community?
Okay, so whenever you're purchasing any piece of real estate, a land, apartment, house within Kenya, the transaction now needs to go through a portal that we call Ardhisasa, which is an online portal. All the records have gone online, and from there, any transaction for real estate needs to go through that.
Okay.
Yeah. KRA is Kenya Revenue Authority, and KRA PIN is an individual's tax registration certificate.
Okay.
So, in order to purchase a property or file taxes in Kenya, you need a KRA PIN.
Okay. So back to the Ardhisasa, can you define like what exactly is it and when did it come into play?
It came into play a few years ago.
So it's new.
It's new.
Okay.
Yeah, before all of it was manual records.
Okay.
Now all the land records, the lot numbers, plot numbers, subdivision of titles, all of that is now online. So in the process of, for example, buying a property in Kenya, if a developer was to build an apartment block, let's say in Westlands, they would subdivide the main title number and they'd do it on the platform. And then they would transfer you your portion.
Okay.
Which then is allocated again through the platform. You need to go online and sign, go online and fill in forms and things like that.
What it sounds like, which I think is a great thing, it sounds like it's all on a digital platform versus just pages that could get lost if someone tries to find like title deeds and all that stuff, where everything is digital, where you can easily locate it and be accountable for things.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Before, when we had the manual system, there was duplication of title deeds,
Yeah.
which is now very rare, very rare.
And this might be my final thing, it might be, but when it comes to if someone is interested in buying land, how important is as I've learned here, they like to say due diligence. How important is that? And in the past versus now, how common was it where one, two, three, four people could have had the same title deed to the same place?
So in the past, it was very possible. And that's because of the manual records. And, this is Africa and there are certain ways that things work. In terms of buying land, like we say, deal with reputable people. You can go and be shown a piece of land and there'll be like 10 real estate brokers that show up. You already see certain red flags.
Yeah.
So, as part of doing your due diligence,
What would be those red flags in that due diligence, especially for a foreigner?
the red flags would be where there's multiple people involved, where there's no clear demarcations of signs that this plot is for sale.
Yeah.
And where people then take you to areas that you thought it was here, now it's here.
Yeah.
They're not very specific.
Right.
Yeah. So you need to be very careful who you deal with.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's probably a lot easier for a local Kenyan versus someone who's from outside the country who didn't know anyone, wasn't referred to anyone.
Yeah, so locally, still word of mouth plays a big role.
Okay.
I mean, you can use your network to do a lot of things. Yeah.
Fantastic. So we're going to wrap this up with the final thoughts. And I like to say that this has been a wealth of information. I've learned so much personally about location, accounting, and all these taxation things that I didn't even know existed. So, Pratt, do you have anything that you may have thought about that we didn't discuss that could be of great value to the viewers?
So perhaps I can just say that even though there is a 30% withholding tax on rental, I mean, if, like I mentioned, if you speak to reputable lawyers, get a reputable accountant or somebody to help you with tax, there's always ways you could be able to go around it, or you could circumvent the process of getting a permit before starting any processes. Yes.
Okay, so I guess just like anywhere in the world, it's about what you know and who you know.
Yes.
Fantastic. Hey guys, I am happy to share this information with you. Hopefully you hung out the entire video to learn all this good stuff. I want to say thank you, Pratt, for carving the time out to sit down and talk and share his knowledge with us all. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Until the next time.